welcome back to my channel. This is Annique, and on this channel I talk about books. So today I'm going to do a book review on Such a Fun Age by Kiley Reid. So this book is essentially about an upper middle class woman who hires a black babysitter to primarily take care of her like 3-year-old while she goes out and work on her book that she is writing. So what happened was that one night there was an incident that happened at the lady's house where because of something that her husband had said on TV, because he's a reporter, a TV reporter, he said something that was kind of insensitive, and so someone came who were like angry and they threw a rock at his window. So while her and her husband were dealing with it, she wanted to take the little child out of the house. So she called her babysitter, Amira, and she took her to the grocery store. So while at the grocery store, a security guard came and accused her of kidnapping that little baby because it's a white baby and she's a black woman. So while the incident was happening, there was also another person who happened to be there, another white man who happened to be there and who videotaped the whole thing. And so after that happened, like, she and this man, they met again and they ended up dating, right? So with Amira and her, the babysitter, she has this group of friends that she relies on, that she goes to for advice, like from when she used to live in New York. And so the whole book is basically about like their relationship and how race plays into it. Even it's not like blatant racism, but there's like little things that her as a white woman like probably don't understand. So she's trying to be woke, I guess. She's trying to ask her friends for advice, but it doesn't really come up as genuine. So towards the end, the video ended up getting leaked. I'm not going to spoil how the video got leaked, but it made me really mad. And I thought that Amira handled it with grace and with a lot of patience, I guess, and professionalism, and so I give her credit for that. So the other thing is that Amira's boyfriend, like her boyfriend, is also somebody that we're not sure, like, he might have a fetish because he only dates black women and he's always had like black friends. And there was an incident with him and Amira's employer, who is, let me see, I forgot her name, but it's Alex, but it's pronounced something like some special way that I don't really know, like it's like Elix or something like that. But anyways, yeah, so this Amira's new boyfriend happens to be a high school like sweetheart or boyfriend that Alex used to be like fascinated with and very much in love with. And so there was another incident in that had to do with another like black high school student that kind of like ruined his future, I guess, his college life. So that also plays a part into it. And so altogether, I thought this book was just a good read. And I actually have a story about that because I used to be a babysitter, and so I have something very similar that happened to me. Well, not very similar, but something kind of like that, because I was babysitting a white baby, and I can tell that story afterwards when I'm finished with the book review. But yes, it's just extremely weird, like where this white woman is trying to be like a friend, or I don't know, like somebody who cares about Amira. But in the end, she ended up just, it was like she was just using her. You know, like it wasn't like it was genuine about it the whole time. So this is, it's got a little bit of racial tension, but it's not like overtly racial tension. It's like something that you gotta have, you have to pay attention to, like little things that she says, a little, you know, the way that she acts around Amira, and it was just crazy. So another thing about this book too is that there were a couple of times where it was like insinuating that Alex might have some type of crush on Amira, or you know, maybe some wild fantasy about her. So I was wondering if that was gonna go somewhere, but it didn't. So that was kind of like a you know, suspenseful thing for me, because I was kind of wondering like what's gonna happen. But the way that I thought it was gonna happen is like completely the opposite that happened. So one thing that I was a little bit disappointed with is that Amira, like in the end, I wanted her to, like, you know, I wanted to have like this great moment where we learn, after she had moved on from babysitting, that she became this like really great, successful, you know, woman who she was like ambitious. But to me, it seemed like she was not really I don't know, that ambitious. Like she ended up in a job that she liked, which is important, I guess, if you really like your job. But it wasn't like she went out and like wrote a tell-all book or became very, very successful and rich and things like that. So I was kind of just like, I wish she had, you know, a little bit more more power at the end, like, or moved on to a job where she was like really you know, successful, or where she could go back to, like when she saw Alex, like, you know, she would just be like, I'm more successful than you now. Like, how ironic is that? So, but the fact that she was happy in the end, like with her job and her life, she also was like somebody who is in her mid-20s, so of course she was struggling a lot, which is also very relatable, because nowadays, like when people get out of college, you don't always find like the, you know, great jobs like right away. Sometimes you just have to do things like babysitting or work at, you know, little odd jobs here and there until you find a good job. And also you have that period where we don't really know what you're doing, what you want to do with your life. So we saw that too with Amira. So it was very relatable to see all of that. One of the things that was kind of annoying is that I believe one of the girls, or women I should say, in Alex's group of friends is also a black woman. So I really kind of like was confused about her. Like I don't understand her. Like, you know, I thought she would be more telling Alex like the you know, the better way to handle things, or tell her, you know, the truth, which is not really her responsibility. But she seemed like she was just complacent in the whole thing, and that she was I guess loyal to her friend. So I don't know, I guess that happens sometimes in real life too. So with this book, I give it a 5 out of 5 stars. I highly recommend if you have been thinking about picking it up, or you know, don't like want to read it, like you should definitely read it. It's something that really speaks to what we're going through in today's time, like when it comes to young people trying to navigate like their life as young adults, and relationships and love and things like that. So it's got a lot of interesting points about it. So I think everybody should read it if you want to. So I was gonna say my story about when I used to be a babysitter. So I used to babysit this little boy. He was about 1.5 years old, and he was white, of course, and his parents worked full time, so I was with him like from 8 to 6 p.m. And so there was a park right by his house, and he loved going to the park. So I would take him to the park as long as the weather was good outside, and he would just run around and like play and things like that. So one day, I mean, I usually get some looks because it was always like mostly white people who were there. But there would be some few like Hispanics and Asians, but I was usually like the only black person there and with a white baby. So I would get some looks, but nobody actually came and said anything to me because I'm pretty sure everybody assumed that I was a babysitter. So one day there was this grandma who came with her granddaughter to the park. And so she kept looking at me and, was getting close to me, and she found a way to come and started talking to me. And at first she was acting like she was just being very friendly, asking me, saying hello, asking me about the boy, what's his name, how old is he, things like that. And, the boy, he seemed very happy. So, I was just talking to her like it was normal. So then I wanted, like, the little boy, like, he was playing, so I had to pay attention to him. So I kind of just was feeling like those questions are getting a little bit too much. Like, it was like, maybe how old is he? Like, one or two questions, like, just out of curiosity is okay. But when you keep going and going and going and asking me things, I just started to feel uncomfortable. So I took the boy and I walked all the way to the other side of the park with him. And we were playing. He was on the swings, little baby swings, and, just having fun. And a few minutes later, I saw the lady, like, behind me. And again, she came, like, pretending like she was just being nice, and, was walking, and she kept walking towards me. And so she again started talking, and she started asking me questions again. And she was like, oh yeah, this boy, he seems very happy and blah blah blah. Like, she was like, so is his mom at work? Is his mom working? And I was like, yes, his mom is working, that's why I'm with him. And then she was like, oh well, that's good. That's good that they found someone that they can trust, and that he looks like he's in good hands. And I'm like, yeah, thank you. And then she was like, so they do know you, right? Like, it's the way that she asked that question. She was like, after I told him that yes, I was a babysitter and his mom was working, and I just felt like that question was unnecessary, like, to be like, oh, so yes, they do know you, right? Kind of like she was just looking for something or whatever. But anyways, if it was today, like, I would have asked her, like, so do you interrogate like everybody that you meet at the park with a baby who doesn't look like them, like, or is it just me because I'm black? But I didn't say that. I just kind of got scared, and I took the baby home, and that was it. So he was I was kind of like worried, like, when I was walking, I kept looking back to see if she was following me or something, but thank God she didn't, and I just went home. So anyways, this is a reason, like, this reminded me of that time in my past when I used to deal with things like that. So it's I appreciate that, I could see like I was reading a book that, like, I had like a similar experience with, because I used to babysit as well. So I appreciate that, and I hated it at the same time that it reminded me of those times. But so anyways, I also love the way that Amira, like, bonded with the child. Like, she really cared about her, and that's actually what happens too when you're like babysitting a little baby who's innocent. But yeah, you don't need to, like, make assumptions. If you see an adult with a child who doesn't look like the adult, it could be a babysitter, it can also be their parent. Like, there's no need to make assumptions. Like, I know that bad things happen, and there are people who hurt children, but most of the time people who hurt children are not gonna be like taking them out to the parks or going out for ice cream or whatever. They're usually gonna do what they want to do, which is like to hurt them most of the time. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. So just maybe look at the child to see how they're acting, if they're like looking like they're scared, or if they're acting weird or in any ways, and then maybe do something. But I don't know, like, I don't know, it's hard to tell like what's the right thing to do at this time at something like that. But anyways, that part in the book was extremely like hard to read as well, because it's like, what more did that security guy need? Like, the baby is not acting like he's scared. She was not acting like she was scared. Like, she was like, the security guard was scaring her, like, and she was like, she wanted to, she wanted a mirror, but that security guard like essentially tried to kidnap the baby. So yeah, anyways, these things happen in real life, and unfortunately they happen, and they probably will happen. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that. It was a very, very enjoyable read, and I look forward, like, if anybody has read it, please let me know what you thought about it. And thank you for watching.